Hey everyone, today we'll be soloing VanCleef in the Deadmines. You can find the Deadmines in Moonbrook, which is in Westfall in the Eastern Kingdoms. Proceed by entering this building. We can do a logout skip here, and the way I like to do it is to backpedal off of the ramp until you're mostly off and in the air, and then you can log out. And the glyphs we're going to use are Deadly Brute, Envenom, and Saber Slash, and then we'll also be using Between the Eyes for VanCleef. You don't have to use Between the Eyes for VanCleef, but I personally like to. And you can log back in. Keep in mind, my gear is pretty good at this point, but I have done this solo with all green gear before. And if you're successful, you're at the entrance of the dungeon, and you can enter. Proceed to the first boss while avoiding all enemies. At a minimum for consumes you want to bring, you can bring some flash powder for vanish, anti-venom, bandages, and some health potions. You want to click the lever behind the door while the boss is the maximum distance away, and you can use a distract to keep them there longer. Proceed with the route. Open the door, then go back into stealth, and then open the second door in the shredder room. Proceed down the hall to the next door. Open the door. Make your way down the ramp and to the door, which is behind the boss in this room. When you click the lever, you'll likely aggro, so you'll want to pop a vanish. For the door in this room, we can unlock it with our lockpicking skill when it's safe to. Then we can jump in the water. Then you can get up right about here. You'll want to go into stealth as there are 2 stealth mobs. I like to personally distract the mobs here, but I don't believe that you have to. You'll want to make your way up the ship, but you want to avoid pulling aggro and breaking stealth, as your vanish will likely still be on cooldown still. And we'll eventually want to clear these upper 2 platforms, so you can start killing this mob here. To avoid overpulling, I like to get the mob on the next ramp up. And you can utilize this area over here to avoid the mob running away in fear and potentially pulling more enemies. Proceed with killing this mob here. It should not aggro any other mobs if you're level 25. Now for the rest of the pulls, the mobs will aggro another mob, so you'll want to utilize a sap and then kill the other mob that it aggroed. But in this situation here, I'm going to show you, how dicey things can get if you fight 2 mobs. Keep in mind my gear is pretty good, but when I was in all green gear doing this, it wasn't really possible for me to pull 2 at a time. And for all these pulls, you will want to replenish your health before engaging another
Already.
enemy. You can proceed with sapping one of the humanoid mobs and killing the rest. If things get a little dicey, you can utilize jumping on this wheel to reset the mob. And if you're dealing with a ranged enemy that can do range damage, you can go in this spot on the wheel to where you're not in line of sight, and then they will eventually reset and you will drop combat. You can either bandage here, or when you drop combat, you can eat some food to replenish your health. Proceed with killing the mob. We can make our way up the ramp and sap one mob and then kill the others that aggro. My health was in a good spot, so I proceeded by pulling the other mob, but if you need to, you can either bandage to replenish health while the other enemy is sapped, or you can go down on the wheel to get out of combat and eat. Sometimes the boss patrolling up above can aggro, so I like to pull mobs down below where I'm out of line of sight to avoid that from happening.
Run away. I can't carry anymore.
We can proceed with sapping a mob and killing the other. The patrolling boss will patrol very close to you, so if you're still engaged with the mob, you'll want to pull back to be far enough away. All right, and we've killed all the mobs that we need to before engaging VanCleef. And I'm going to put on Between the Eyes here on my legs. You can keep Envenom, but I like using Between the Eyes because you can stun VanCleef and get in a little bit more damage. You'll want to replenish your health to full, go back into stealth, and wait until Greenskin is on the right side of the cabin that VanCleef is in before you pull. Right about here, you can distract VanCleef to turn him around, and then your energy will replenish, and then you can open up with a bleed or a garrote. And you'll want to backpedal to where I'm going here, and while you're doing that, you can pop evasion to reduce the incoming damage. Although it's rather rare, I have seen VanCleef apply poison to me, so if you get a poison on you, you can use an anti-venom bandage. You'll want to be aware when your evasion is falling off and your health. If you get in a spot where your health is getting low, you'll want to backpedal off and make sure to not land on the cannon. You want to land on this lower lip here where I'm standing. In addition, you'll want to wait a moment before running over because the stealth mobs are right above you at this point, and as you can see here, one tried to hit me and I dodged it. So for now, if your health is low, you'll want to replenish it with a bandage or maybe even a health potion, and when VanCleef gets close to you, you can shoot them with your ranged weapon and then proceed with damaging them while paying very close attention to your health. And you know, I probably could have killed VanCleef here, but I really wanted to demonstrate what you'll be doing if you don't have as much damage output. And you'll want to stand right about here. And depending on your situation, you may need to delay when VanCleef gets to you to apply another bandage or to use another health potion. But when you're in a good spot, you can jump back down and VanCleef will then start running to you again. And as they're getting close and in range, you can shoot them with your ranged weapon. Build a few combo points and stun them, or use your finishing move. When I was in all green gear doing this, it took about 5 minutes to kill VanCleef of going back and forth. The stealth mobs will still be engaged, so you can pop a vanish to get out of combat. And congratulations, you just soloed VanCleef and you can loot your gear. Hopefully you got something good. And that is it for today's video. If you liked what you saw, feel free to drop a subscribe or a like as it helps me out a lot, or feel free to leave any feedback in the comments below. Cheers.